the West Highland Way, a 4 to 6 day through hike that traverses up into the Scottish Highlands and wilderness. Along ancient drovers and old military roads etched into the mountains over centuries. This trail is not for those who seek comfort, but for those who wish to see Scotland for what it truly is. In mid-2022, I got to experience just that. And this is the story about that experience, which hopefully you can use as a guide to help you hike this amazing trail as well. First, find your way to central Glasgow. There are direct trains from London and buses from Glasgow Airport. Once you've made it to Glasgow, get any supplies you need, like gas or food. You'll pass a shop each day where you can resupply, so don't stress about overstocking. Then, get a train from Glasgow Central or Queen Street Station to Milngavie, the beginning of the trail. I am currently on the West Highland Way, which is a long distance through hike in Scotland, starting in basically Glasgow, and it heads up to Fort William up in the Highlands. The West Highland Way is about 150 kilometres. It's generally 4 or 5 day hike on average. I'm going to try and do it ideally in 4 days. It'll probably take 5, considering today is a 5:30 p.m. start. This is the first day. I've literally just started half an hour ago. It's 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon, so the plan today is to have a relatively short one with only a few hours of sunlight left, get to a campsite a little bit further away, and then have a big day tomorrow, I think. The first section passes through farmland and forested paths. You begin in the lowlands, where civilization feels a lot more present. Where you camp on your first night will be dependent on what time you start on the trail. Most people will finish day 1 in Drimmen. As I left quite late in the afternoon and wasn't sure on wild camping spots, I stayed at the West Highland Way campsite about 8.6 kilometres in.
Oh, you're cutie, aren't you?
Alright, back out on the trail again. It is day 2 on the West Highland Way. Started late afternoon yesterday and managed to get about 6 kilometres in, and just stayed at, I think it's the West Highland Way campsite, which wasn't a bad stay, to be honest. I didn't wild camp just because there are lots of houses and lots of people around. It was a little bit expensive, it was like £20, but you know, there was breakfast, tea, coffee as well, which was kind of nice, a bit of a change. Not really roughing it at the moment. It's been okay so far, to be honest. Quite overcast, as you'd expect from Scotland, but no rain as of yet. If you need a caffeine hit, this cafe does just the job. You can't miss it about 1 hour north of the West Highland Way campsite. That's a good sandwich. Continue walking past farms and villages. Rain is more than likely to be a regular companion on your trip. Just coming up to Drimmen, which we will pass through. I think a lot of the time that's where the first section will end, but because we got 6k in yesterday, we're just going to keep punching through. The plan is to get up to Loch Lomond and walk all the way up past the final car park so we can enter sort of the area where you're allowed to wild camp. You'll soon pass Drimmen and ascend up to Connacht Hill, where you'll get a stunning view of Loch Lomond. Descend down to the small town of Balmaha and restock supplies. Just coming down my first bit of incline. I think it was only about 500 metres, but decided we would do a bit of a trail run on the way down. Just coming up to Loch Lomond, and we've got some food, get some water,
And yeah, we'll go from there.
Now begins the long hike along Loch Lomond. You might want to choose to stay at one of the campsites that you'll pass early on during this section, as wild camping south of here is restricted. If you choose to push onto the wild camping area, it's a very long day. It was a total of 42 kilometres for me for the day, coming from the West Highland Way campsite.
Alright, so we are now in the zone where we are allowed to wild camp. So we've had a pretty big day, to be honest, just walking north along the east bank of Loch Lomond. It's 6 p.m. now, so yeah, just gonna have a look out for some spots to wild camp and then yeah, get things set up.
Once you reach the area, there's plenty of options for wild camping. Most choose to pitch on the shoreline, though you can also find spots up in the forest.
It's not a bad little spot for night number 2, just set up, but there is some wild weather on the way. I'm just looking across Loch Lomond at the moment, and off there in the distance you can see some rough weather coming, so I am going to jump in my tent now, get under cover, and hopefully I can make some dinner in there.
I was exhausted after today and got my tent set up, had my dinner, got a few drone shots, and then went straight to sleep. Loch Lomond. Day 3 is known for its grueling trek around this stunning lake. I awoke refreshed with a sense of urgency to get this section done as quickly as I could. This section is punishing, with repetitive walking through overgrown paths with little to see. I would eventually leave Loch Lomond behind and ascend into a valley. The Highlands were beginning to feel a lot closer.
Not feeling the freshest this morning after that big 40-kilometre day yesterday. Still a little bit sore, a bit fatigued, but all is good. First town we get to, I'm going to find a coffee. I'm not too sure when the next town is. I think we've probably got a little while to go, to be honest. So yeah, just going to get a podcast on and keep trudging away.
I found this section to be another challenging one for wild camping. I would end up spending the night in the Crianlarich hotel. In hindsight, staying in the hotel was great as I was able to recharge my camera gear and phone. If you want to wild camp though, continue past the turn-off to Crianlarich and head further into the forest where a few wild camping spots will present themselves. Day 3.5 takes me from Crianlarich to a wild camping spot just past Inveroran, a total of 29 kilometres. There is a noticeable change in the scenery as you move into the Highlands, with mountains looming above you and the trail becoming more wild and deserted.
So it's the third full day on the trail and just cracked the 100-kilometre mark, which is great news. We're coming up to the bridge of Orkney soon. We'll cross over there. I might stop quickly and just make some food, have some freeze-dried eggs, and then continue on for another, I think 12-13k or so to find a wild camp spot. So yeah, it's about 2 o'clock now. We're sort of walking along a farm road at the moment, but as you can see, very much so sort of in the Highlands now.
Descend down to Inveroran, a small settlement known for the hotel. Less than 5 minutes down the road is a popular wild camping spot where most thru-hikers will choose to pitch. I chose to walk on further down the trail another 20 minutes or so. and found a secluded wild camping spot by a small river. End of day 3.5 would bring me to a total distance of 112 kilometres. Day 4 was by far my favourite day on the West Highland Way. Rise early so that you can beat the crowds to the special locations that you'll visit today. First, walk through the stunning Rannoch Moor, a boggy moorland which was at the heart of the last significant ice age in the UK. You'll soon start to see some of the stunning mountains that make up Glencoe as well. Head up the Devil's Staircase and then start to descend down to Kinlochleven.
Coming to the end of day 4, and it's the second last day on the trail. We're at about 132 kilometres at the moment, so roughly another 25 to go. I'm going to try and get another 5 or 10 done today, so I have a relatively short day tomorrow, and finish up in Fort William quite early so I can get the bus back to Glasgow. So yeah, we are cruising.
Most hikers opt to stay at the paid campsite in the town of Kinlochleven. I grabbed some food from the shop here after descending down from the mountain pass. I decided to push on up into the mountains on the old military road that connects to Fort William. Walking through this valley in the early summer evening was stunning and eerily quiet. I managed to find a decent pitch just past the old ruins. Just as an FYI, the midges were awful here. Despite the thick clouds of midges, I managed to get my tent up and had a great sleep, and would wait tomorrow to complete the final half day of the West Highland Way. My final day would bring me to a total of 5 days and 168 kilometres. Continue following the old military road towards the UK's highest mountain, Ben Nevis. Once you arrive in Fort William, get the bus number 914 back to Glasgow, which is around a 3-hour bus trip. An incredible 5 days had come to an end. I had experienced and captured some very special memories from a very special place. This is probably one of the busier thru-hikes that you will do in Scotland, but it's for good reason. It's busy because of the incredible mountains, the scenery, the amazing people that call Scotland home, and the ability to sleep under the night sky in a part of the world that sometimes seems untouched by humans. Yet it has deep historical and cultural roots, and just over a few millennia ago it was considered at the edge of the known world. So I strongly encourage you to visit this amazing country and thru-hike this stunning trail. It might not be as remote as the Cape Wrath Trail, but it mixes together all of the ingredients you need for an incredible experience. I know I'll definitely be coming back. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed that video as well of me hiking the West Highland Way. Like my Skytrail video, I wanted to make a video with a little bit more detail in terms of giving you advice about hiking the trail, but I also wanted to give a bit more of a cinematic feel to it. As you can see, I am now in Australia. I'm here enjoying the summer, catching up with friends and family. I'm planning to hopefully do a hike at some point. If not, I'll be doing the Cape Wrath Trail up in Scotland as soon as the Northern Hemisphere winter has finished. But in the meantime, I'm hopefully going to keep putting out some videos like I've done with this video. Thanks again for watching if you've made it this far. I really do appreciate it. I can see that the channel is growing, which is great to see. So as I said, hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.